Hello and welcome to the Excel Centre in London for round 2 of season 6 of the EERC Formula E Championship. It is season 6, isn't it? I've certainly got that right. I got confused because the layout it says London E-prix season 8, but that's real life season 8, whereas we're on season 6, I think.
Yeah, I think that's season 7 already.
Season 7, yeah, sorry. Okay. Right, so I was wrong on both counts. Oh, as we see, that looks like one of the Finavons going sideways into the wall just on the exit of a turn 3 there. Not sure who that was. I think it might have been Larhoven. But anyway, a fantastic circuit here at the Excel, of course, indoor-outdoor layout. And of course, we tried to do this at the end of last season. We've had the track layout from, of course, Errol Prefect and... who's Prefect's friend who also works on this? Gibson, yes, Gibson. Garrett Gibson. So both of them doing excellent work to update the track with the new chicane instead of the double hairpin that we had last time we were here. And the layout, I think you'll agree, looks very, very nice. So before qualifying starts, Nick, have you got the hot lap ready? Should I commentate over it, or should we just listen to James Juber's hot lap? The championship leader, of course, winner in Berlin. Shall I commentate over it, or should we just play it?
I've been having computer problems. I didn't get it uploaded, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, I can just talk you through the layout if we watch whoever coming out on lap at the end of practice. Then, if that makes sense, we might also be joined in a second. Of course, Nick Homewood alongside me. My name's Edward Hunter. If I didn't say earlier, I almost certainly didn't.
I think I've got to go to Discord, Ed.
Oh, okay, right, okay. So we might be very, very briefly. You might lose me, but I'll hopefully come back soon, and we're able to join Joshua Birch, who I think is waiting for us. So hold on, everyone. So, qualifying is about to start any minute now, with all the cars waiting for the green light to appear at the end of the pit lane. And first out will be, looks like one of the Finavonda into the points cars. It's gone very pixelated on my end. But as Joshua Birch is just struggling to join us, but I'm sure he'll be here in a moment. It is actually... Yeah, we can hear you now, Josh. So we're just looking at Joshua Hamilton, who, of course, didn't participate in Berlin, waiting at the end of the pit lane to be let out in the first group. And just a reminder, the quali groups, the first group consists of course, Joshua Hamilton, James Juber, championship leader, Oliver Perikian, who's, of course, been also setting fast times with Josh Hamilton in practice, Aidan Coleman from 360 Motorsports, Jack Giordamano from Hunter Birch Simulation Formula E Zone team, and, of course, Adam Coates. Oh, was I breaking up on your end, Josh?
No, I was just going, woohoo!
Okay.
Yeah.
Robot-y Josh.
As I usually do, the computer's had an update for bus mixer because I couldn't get it working, so I'm on the back. I'm okay.
Ooh. Yeah, Josh, you got a bit of a robot-y...
Do I sound like a Dalek?
Yeah, it's quite funny.
You sound very slightly inebriated on my end. No, you sound very slurred and slow. I'm sorry, Josh. I know it's not your fault. I'm sure you sound very clear and lucid on your end, but unfortunately, that's not what we're hearing.
Am I better Dalek or what?
It might be.
I'll
might
be
just have to
back
put up
again.
with
Let's see if I can fix it.
Anyway, Oliver Perikian.
Okay.
Well, apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Then, as I was worrying it might be my end, but it certainly seems my view, the streamer mind, is sort of started to lag a lot. But I've still got the live timing, so we're still looking. I believe Nick will get a much better view than I can at Josh Hamilton going through the first sector now, 23.4, which I believe it's a. We're looking at Perikian then, who's just set a 23.5 in the first sector.
Ooh.
You know, if we're struggling to get Josh in, I think I'm almost tempted to go back to Mumble. It is a bit, yeah. Oh, but again, yeah. The problem is that going to Discord, it's really lagged. Whereas on my phone, it wasn't lagging as much. And the problem is I can't be in the voice of my microphone that's plugged into my laptop. I don't want to commentate from my phone because that's just not professional. So I'll just have to go by what the timing screens are saying. So Perikian sets a 23.3 in the middle sector. Which, again, purple because he's obviously the first one out. Jordan Marner's times at the moment, not looking. He's about 2 seconds off what Perikian's doing. Juba sets a 23.4 in the first sector, which is, I believe, faster than anyone so far, about a tenth quicker than Perikian. Adam Coates also crosses the line now too. So Perikian sets a 1:14.9, Adam Coates a 1:19.2. And I think Juba 23.0 in the middle sector. That's very quick indeed. In fact, better than his best time during the week, actually. Ooh, there we go. So Jack Giordamano comes across the line 1:19.5, couple of tenths behind Adam Coates for XRL Esports. Juba coming across the line now. Let's see what the time is. I might be a bit premature there.
There he goes.
There we go. Top of the table. 1:14.2 then. So a very impressive time there from Juba. His best time was about a second, 8 tenths off of his best hot lap time during the week. But we got to keep an eye on Josh Hamilton, of course. He's basically going to have to take Berlin as a drop score because he didn't participate, as I was trying to say. This has been... Yeah, and I think Josh Birch has probably given up on trying to join the commentary. He wasn't feeling too well as well, so I did wonder initially when he was slurring if that was what the issue was, but actually no, it was just a technical issue, I think, or maybe the internet not too good over in Lincolnshire. As I'm looking at Perikian crossing the line now. Oh, as I say that.
How do I sound now? Do I sound okay now?
A lot better. There we go. So
cool. Let's get on with it.
Exactly.
Sorry. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, there we go. So Juba has just set the fastest time, 1:14.2. Josh Hamilton, though, has set purple first sector, but Juba is going faster on his lap in the middle sector. And there we go. Who's about 2 tenths faster than Juba on the current lap. Remember, this is all to get into Super Pole, of course. We haven't gone to the Jules format just yet.
Hamilton,
so
purple.
We should have everyone in 3 groups. There we go, 1:14.089. So he improves to 9 tenths ahead of Perikian. But let's look at Josh Hamilton then. Can he get it together in the final sector and jump up to second position at the very least?
There he comes.
Yep. I'm just looking at replay. Perikian drifting through the attack mode corner, which is great to see. It's an interesting circuit here because obviously you've got the really high grip surface inside, and then outside there's a lot less grips. You see a lot more drifting through the chicanes, through the final sector as well.
Looks mighty good though, and of course, this is actually the first race we've commentated together at London, Ed, since you were there as well, and I know Nick as well, you went there over that weekend. And
yeah, we encountered one another on the Sunday. Yes.
Yeah, meeting of the commentators. What's it like then being inside as well? Because I can imagine with the electricity as well, and the generators whining, it does create quite a loud, sharp noise.
The cars, you mean?
Yes,
or did you sort of inside? Yeah, no. I was wondering if you meant like the generators inside, but
everything really. Was it quite loud inside?
In terms of the loudest thing, I think Nick will agree with me was certainly the music on the intercom that was playing from the EJ, I guess.
Oh my!
Thunderstruck was playing on the grid, which sort of fit. And I remember on Saturday, I played a lot of 90s EDM as we see Group 2 getting ready to leave the pit lane now. So I think Coates, Giordamana, and Hamilton are just completing their laps. Hamilton finishes the lap 6/10 down on Juba.
And of course,
so I think Giordamana and Coates are still going.
Well, that's not the weekend, is it? It's Wednesday.
Yeah, House Sonneveld. Yeah, House Sonneveld might be able to get to the back of the grid tomorrow, but the best he'll be able to finish is potentially as we have got a 20th guy showing up. So the best that House Sonneveld can do, unless there's lots of retirements here, is probably about 21st if he shows up tomorrow.
And this strange new format as well, with the 2 races that we run as well, and the fastest guys go in race 1, the slower go in race 2 as well, and we all add them together as well. I think it's a fascinating construct as well, especially considering.
But anyway, Giordamana struggling to get into Superpole here. I think there might be a bit much for him, but he could certainly get a decent starting position today. He said when James Juba sort of shared his setup with him, as Giordamana goes for 1:18.3, which is about a second off of Coleman, who's been beaten by Adam Coates. That's very impressive, actually, by the XRL Esports driver to beat Coleman.
Wow.
Indeed. Yeah, wow. So there we go. It's a very tight margin. Perikian was only just beaten by Hamilton, too, by 0.054, as we see Group 2 going onto the circuit then. So, a reminder, who's in Group 2, of course. It is Pascal Leggett, Michael Steffel, Luca Gray, Alban Gashi, Michael Koch, Stefan Goscht, and Joop Laarhoven. And Laarhoven, you'll of course remember that great battle with, I believe it was Gashi and Gashi's teammate, wasn't it?
My money already going out for this group for Laarhoven to get out.
Yeah, but Laarhoven, of course, used a little bit too much energy and fell down to, I think, 10th by the end of the race in Berlin. As we see him just... I'm just checking I'm caught up, but I'm just seeing him go through the chicanes now, as one of the Finavons... Yeah, okay, there we go. So my issues I was having earlier. I was having it lag a lot, and I was basically seeing things way after Nick was talking about. As we cut back to... as we cut back to Jack Giordamana.
That was Giordamana, yeah.
Whoa, as Laarhoven gives a little practice for attack mode, and Auto Director really seems interested in Jack Giordamana. And who could blame him, of course, the Hunter Birch FEZ, or HBS FEZ, as I was telling my dad earlier over dinner. To differentiate it from the main Hunter Birch simulation team. It's Juba, of course, and Tom Dillon drive for. We're looking at Gashi, of course. That's probably sensible for the time being. In the race, Auto Director is a bit more helpful, Nick. But anyway...
It's quite nice having Nick up here in the commentary box now. He's retired.
It is. Well, he seems to be retired for the time. I see it more of a sabbatical, where he'll win the championship next season when the Gen 3 cars
need a bit of a rest.
Look at that crowd. I remember being in that crowd, Nick. Such an amazing atmosphere indoors.
They are. They're all looking down towards turn 1.
Oh, as Gashi hits the inside at the first corner. As the crowd, the 2D crowd, is, of course, not really got much choice about where they look because they're all cardboard cutouts to save on rendering power. The marshals are 3D, though, because they're a bit closer to the track, so you might see a bit more light from them. Indeed, yes, because we need them to wave the flags. But Gashi, I wonder how much time as he comes towards the first sector. Personal best, though. In the first sector, that looks like Goscht, who's about to get out of the way in front of him, hopefully. But Gashi, having a look, it's a 23.8 in the first sector, which Steffel has matched. Goscht, much slower, 23.5 in the first sector, so I think he's just gotten out of the way now.
Tell you what, John also...
I say that and they collide together. And famous wrong words there from me there, as Gashi and Goscht hit each other, ruining each other's laps. Here's Luca Gray, of course. He was very impressive. Fifth last time out, got into Superpole in Berlin. Can he potentially repeat the feat here as we see Season 4 champion Michael Koch exiting and about to start a lap?
Some really strange situations going on with that.
Steffel has crossed the line 4th now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Steffel 1:17.8 puts him behind Perikian by about a second and a half. So that is sort of... You got 3 in the 1:14s. That's sort of where you want to be to get into Superpole, isn't it? Either a really low 1:15 or a sort of high 14. That's going to be about the limit, I think. Yeah, Pascal goes through the first 2 sectors. Yeah, 23.6, 23.5 for Pascal Leggett. But yeah, as we were saying, what a big collision between... I think Gashi will be very annoyed with Goscht for ruining his first lap, because you only get 3 goes, I think.
Well, he might get a penalty as well, because...
for not moving out of the way of someone on a hot lap. As we see Pascal coming to the end.
Gosh was on his hot lap as well, I think, so...
Oh, right. Well, I think Gosh with all due respect to Stefan Gosh, I think he really should have got out of the way as Pascal Eggert goes into the top 4. 1:15.7 there. So very decent times. We see him really drifting the rears out through the first chicane there in the indoor section. And he comes out onto the normal tarmac of the car park as Gashi, meanwhile, is going indoors. And Gashi not doing particularly better in the first 2 sectors, but he will be quicker in the final sector because there's no Gosh ahead of him to hold him up. So
gosh.
Let's see what the VMS Sun Edits car can do.
We're already starting with the puns.
And I'm still not that well either. That was a good one for me, and I'm not.
Oh, and Gashi messes up on exit and into the wall.
That'll be
as
his
the yellow flags wave. Now it's good that no one was behind him there, but Gashi 2.5 seconds off the pace then, just behind Gray. But here is Steffel on a pretty decent run, about 3 temps off in the first sector of Juba. But of course, the target time is going to be the place where he's actually at the moment. So he's really fighting with Gray at the moment to get into that top 5 for Superpole.
Yeah, it was just a little gash that comes to the front wall there as well, down to turn 1 as well. Nothing that important.
And it's interesting because Steffel, of course, has got the advantage at the moment over someone like Josh Hamilton, the championship. Although I wonder if they'll already be operating on the drop scores. Josh Hamilton, joint champion last year with House Sonneveld.
Oh, he's got the number 1 on his car, though.
It's true. Well, House Sonneveld would say, I've got 2 number 1s. As Steffel across the line remains 5th. So I think that's Group 2 over then, unless Larhoven can... I think Larhoven has been sent to the back, has he? Because it's showing him 1:17.2, but it's showing him down in 20. He might have a grid penalty.
I'm not sure why.
Well, anyway.
Oh, he's back.
We move on to the final group as Larhoven slots back into 9th behind his teammate Michael Koch. So Jarno Hermans, Nick Konen. I was struggling because I get him mixed up with Nick Homewood, of course, who's alongside me in the comments box. Krzysztof Rosinski from Hunter Simulation. Chris Zervas, Finnavond Blue. Peter Schumann, Finnavond White. Josh Hughes for XRL Esports. And Tom Dillon for Hunter Birch 72. So, exactly. So 200 Birch cars in this particular group looking to impress as Conan starts his first flying lap then.
I'm here to bring balance.
Any big hitters in this final group you guys think we should watch? Conan got into Super Bowl last time, so I think he... Yeah, I was actually quite impressed by Zervas as well in the hot laps for Berlin. He was 9th in the hot laps this time, so he'll definitely need to... 1:15.3, I don't think will be quite... It would be enough at the moment to beat Pascal Eggert to 4th, so he'll need to repeat. He's certainly capable of that pace, but it's delivering it under this intense pressure of this format that's really going to put him to the test then. As we see Nick Conan continuing on his way about... let's see, Conan was about 6 temps down in the first sector, so this isn't an amazing first effort, 24.1. Zervas sets 24.2 in the middle sector, and Conan matches that.
Tom Dillon's just come through the first sector. He's into sector 2. I can't see his time there in that first sector.
Yeah, and Rosinski is just behind Conan. Rosinski, of course, won the Grid 2 race in Berlin.
Oh, I think Tom's crashed. He's had a spin.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and he's returned to the pit lane.
There we go. So at least he didn't cause a yellow flag to hold up anyone else's lap. But Dillon under pressure then. His first effort abandoned. And he did, for a while, he's had a time on the board that was about 10 seconds off of everyone else. As Conan, once again, gets very close to that inside wall at the first corner. I think it's one of those ones where you really have to go tight on the apex there in order to set yourself up for turn 2. As we see Conan bursting out into the sunlight. 10th at the moment. Conan really needs to up the pace. I don't think his pace is particularly quick in the hot laps either. But yeah, Conan very much up against it then. As we go to the first sector, it's about the same. It's a slight improvement, only 4 temps off this time, I think. Zervas, though, as I sort of predicted, is the one really impressing right now. So Chris Zervas, 7th fastest, 1:16.7 his last time. Hermans beats that, though. Hermans beats that for VMS 82, 1:16.3. So certainly these early times from Zervas and Hermans really like... Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
It's Conan who's gone round then. So that's going to really blow. And that was just going into the attack mode corner, which seems to be the really tough one. It's like turn 16, isn't it? So just next to where the DLR train is. I actually sat there for race 2 this year and got a great view.
Of course. That's where
Yeah,
you're
that's why I
sending
put.
the photos from. Yeah.
Well, the video footage I did is here. We're on board now with Tom Dillon as the rear is sliding out. He's fighting against this Hunter Birch simulation car, trying to get. Probably not going to be able to get into Super Bowl with all due respect, but he might be able to get in near enough to the top 10. That's sort of what he was aiming for, I think.
Just
Top
needs
8,
a clean
I think, is
lap,
what Tom
and
Dillon.
he won't be last.
Indeed. Yeah, so the pressure really on. Rosinski and Giordamana sort of rounding out the field ahead of him at the moment, but they've done well just to get into grid 1, to be honest, because Rosinski just missed out for Berlin. Giordamana, of course,
had a lap as well.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that. Zervas is 6th. I think he might just miss out by 3 tenths to Michael Steffel. Herman's still on a lap, though, as well. Personal bests in the first 2 sectors. He gets up to 4th. There we go. 1:15.6 then. So about 8 tenths off of Perikian. So great lap by Jarno Hermans there. And that puts VMS right into the mix. They really needed a driver in Super Bowl, didn't they? We see Tom Dillon, 2 personal best sectors as he approaches towards the final 2 corners here. And he's certainly looking faster than sort of Josh Hughes and to Rosinski. He might be able to get into 11th or 12th here. Let's see as he crosses the line. It's going to be 12th for Tom Dillon. There we go, just ahead of Lahoven. 1:17.1. As here comes Rosinski then. He's improving too. He's no slouch either. We saw what he could do in grid 2 from the very back. Winning that particular encounter. 1:18.0. So Rosinski beats Giordamana, his teammate, and Schoenman to 18th. So Peter Schoenman, of course, he did the commentary for Grid 2. Hughes, a very impressive lap by the XRL esports driver, into the top 7 then. But here's Hermans on, I think, his final run then.
Hermans is, he's had a mistake. He's 2.5 seconds down.
A mistake in the middle sector. So that's probably going to stop. But he has done enough, I believe, to get into Super Bowl. Unless Zervas can maybe... Well, even then, he'd be 5th, wouldn't he? I think Zervas is the one...
down already.
Yeah, there we go. So... I think Hughes might actually get another run here. He's just gone through the first sector, 23.7, which isn't too bad. And Brzezinski as well. So I think it's Hughes, Zervas, Brzezinski. Oh, no, Brzezinski's come in. So it's Hughes and Zervas we're watching. Zervas sets to personal best. Zervas sets to personal best, sector 2, 23.9.
Oh, he's crashed.
Oh, dear. And the Frinabon goes into the wall at the final corner uphill. That's not one you see every day. So I think he was abandoning there.
Hughes
as that looks like Josh Hughes going back to the pits. But impressive run from Hughes for the XRL esports driver. 12th in Berlin, wasn't he? As we see Pascal Eggert going out for his Super Pole lap. But some impressive, some big turn-ups there. Did not expect Herman from the final group to sneak into Super Pole there. But very impressive by the VMS driver. So it looks like we have lost Josh Birch in the middle of that group qualifying session. So apologies for that.
Back on
I was hoping to hand... Yeah. I couldn't say. I wouldn't blame him for drinking after the problems he's had to deal with in technical issues. As we see the DLR train. I was thinking of a hover train there for some reason. Just waiting patiently.
Going so fast.
Yeah. All due respect to Errol Prefect and Garrett Gibson, but I don't think they wasted their time making the train fly. We see it going by Pascal Eggert there. But it's impressive they put the train in at all. As you see Eggert just preparing himself, and there's a little kink there before turn 16, isn't there? Where attack mode is. And that can really catch people out. In fact, it may have been what caught
in the braking zone
out.
as well. So yeah, braking is you're coming over the crest and you're trying to get it in. It's a very tricky little corner. That.
But anyway, here comes Pascal Eggert. He's going to set then he's going to throw down a marker which everyone else in the top 4 drivers ahead of him will have to beat in this Super Bowl session. So we come into Super Bowl then. Pascal Eggert in the 97 Finovond Motorsport Green comes into the first corner, hits the apex well for the first 2 corners, drifts out a little bit wide, carrying as much speed as he can in this indoor section. Here he goes through turn 3 and 4, and now he's going to come downhill through underneath the entrance to the XL, which I walked. It's amazing feeling. You can hear these cars going underneath you when you're coming into the circuit. Pascal looks neat and tidy through the first sector. 4 tenths off of Juba's best effort, which set the best time in the group stage.
It's a very
this is looking pretty.
Oh, not anymore.
It's like until he crashes and loses the rear at the chicane, and the suspension and the steering rack is horribly bent here. It's like it really just trying to finish a lap now. But it's looking a bit... this is going to be quite uncomfortable through the bump. Here we go.
He has to
just about get under control.
Because that way
luckily,
it's ahead of people if they don't do a lap.
if they crash and a wheel falls off. So he was very lucky, but all the wheels stayed on there. But it's looking like a real shopping trolley on wheels here. Big orange and black shopping trolley on wheels, which is one description. It's handling more like the Lego car. The surface change really, it gripped suddenly there, almost caught Pascal out, but he just about avoided the apex wall there. And towards the timing screen, timing he goes, it's going to be a 119 here, 119.0. So considering he crashed in the middle sector, that wasn't too bad. Jarno Hermans now starts his lap.
No, he's only just starting his out lap.
Okay, he was waiting a bit for Pascal to finish crashing ahead of him. But Herman's now warming up the tyres for VMS Orange. And there we go. So Eggert just crashed, as I'm sure you saw there, Josh. He's just rejoined us now. But Jarno Herman's getting ready to... warming up the tyres. Got to be careful when you do that.
Yeah, that's asking for a crash, doing that.
Indeed, yeah. That's right, the chicane. It's almost like a... let's hope he doesn't do that on the actual lap.
Apologies
I think
for that.
What time did Pascal set? It was 1:19. So Hermans is going to be on provisional pole as long as he doesn't crash and sets the time faster than a 1:19.0.
Welcome back, Josh.
Hello. Sorry about that. Laptop decided to go kaput, and then it shut the computer down as well. So I had to quickly boot it back up because it only went to sleep. But the laptop triggered it because the main PC has done an update. So the bus mix is not working at the moment because it's updated now to Windows 11.1 or whatever it is. So I'm having a right mess. I'll get it fixed, but I'm on backup equipment, so apologies.
And you're a bit under the weather as well. But here we go.
Yeah.
Hermans begins his lap, Josh. So
yes,
let's
down
see. Do
towards
you want to
turn
take
one.
us through it, Josh, as he goes through the first corner? Oh,
Nice
gets the
and
look at the
brakes,
turn in
yeah.
there. He was a little bit tentative.
Yeah, he's fighting
But
the
Hermans
control.
gets under control.
Gets it back through turn 4 as well. Don't drift the car out. Lovely through 5. Downhill. This is, of course, where we saw Sims go over the back of somebody. I wasn't commentating on that race. Back through. Nicely
It was
done.
Roland, I believe, that went
Roland
over.
back,
I was
yeah.
at the race. I
You
remember
were there.
everyone. There was a big intake of breath and everyone going, oh my goodness, we saw him flying up. We thought there was going to be a really big crash, but Roland thankfully hit the ground and unfortunately retired from both races. Hermans, that's a rear slide out,
Wow.
but he's actually up on Juba's time. So he was a little tentative on turning, but he's really caught the time up on the rest of this lap. That is a 23.4 in the first sector. It's actually not faster than Juba. He's about 3 tenths off. 23.4 in both sectors, actually. So this is a really consistent time. He's looking like provisional pole, of course, because Eggert set a 1:19.0 after crashing. And Herman's really trying to get it hooked up here through the last sector. Uphill we go as we go inside. Here comes the surface change. It really grips suddenly as he hit that laid on sort of a joined surface, I guess you'd call it. And now Herman's going towards the timing line. It's going to be a 1:15.1, so a very respectable lap there, and a brilliant first sector as well by Jarno Hermans.
Great lap times coming through then here as we enter the Super Pole, and here comes Oliver as well parking out to start his lap time.
But remember, 1:15.1, that's the time Perikian now has to beat if he wants to be on pole position, or at least on the front row. Here we go through the first sector then. Again, a little bit bumpy, but he survives. And just trying to make sure the rear doesn't stay. He's gone a bit offline. He's gone really to the inside there for turn 4 as he's just approaching the downhill section now. And Perikian gets it hooked up through the chicane. Not looking quite as neat and tidy as Jarno Hermans. Let's see if the lap times supports that. But there we go. He's actually, it's saying 2 tenths up there. 23.2. So he's 2 tenths up on Hermans.
There's purple, yeah, and perfect conditions out there as well. 32.3 degree, as well as track temperature.
Oh,
So
just
tyres
avoiding
are
the wall
heating
there
up.
on the
Wow.
exit. As
This
we
is
see
my
the plane
favourite.
flying in the background into
Yeah,
Heathrow.
This little bobsleigh run here, as he
Whoa.
whacks the wall! Rears into the wall, straight on the right, and bye-bye lap time.
He might
That's
be
the
okay.
kink, once again catching him out, but he won't have lost too much time there, as you point out, Nick. Yeah, because the rear tyre just bumping the wall. So the rear suspension won't like it, but the steering looks okay. Here we go through the final sector then. Only one more corner to go then. And is it going to be provisional pole then for Oliver Perikian? 1:15.1, the time to beat. He powers towards the line. It is going to be a 1:14.1, a whole second faster. So Perikian, even hitting the wall, has put himself on provisional pole and in fact beats Hamilton's time from the group stage. So here comes Josh Hamilton now. He's got to beat that time from Perikian.
Straight onto the brakes into turn 1. Nicely hits the apex. Jumps over the curb as well. Perfect first couple of corners. Fighting the car for control. Now coming into the sunlight as well. A double apex at 4 and 5. Handled beautifully. This is a great opening first sector. How does he handle underneath the bridge? Looks okay to me. No wiggles in the car. That's a very decent first sector. What is it?
Oh,
Wow!
has to have a few goes getting it turned in, but yes, as you say, the time is there. 23-0 in the first sector from Joshua Hamilton as here we go through the chicanes. And sharp intake of breath, close your eyes and get a new pair of trousers as the rear tire hits. He's using all of the road available and maybe even a little bit more. And now here we go over the bump into turn 16. Can he get it turned in time? Just about. And it's another personal best middle sector. This is a cracking lap from Hamilton, but he was a tenth slower in the second sector there. So it's going to be all or nothing here as we go towards the line.
Come on. Get in the front row. Get even a pole position. You've got the time to do it.
Unfinished business here for Josh Hamilton. Yeah. He got knocked out before he got to Super Bowl in the abandoned race we tried to do at the end of last year. But here we go. 1:14.1, the time to beat. Josh Hamilton sets a 1:13.6, the fastest time we've seen today so far. And now it's all down to James Juba, who is also yet to leave the pit lane.
That's a bit weird.
I think James was watching it like the rest of us.
Not really, but I don't think he'll...
If this was a real Formula, he'd be in trouble. Oh, and Juba comes to a standstill.
Has he missed it?
Maybe he's got a problem with his wheel.
Oh, potentially. Let's see if there's any kind of force majeure here that's going to help the Hunter Birch simulation driver. Let's fill in commentary so James has enough time to sort himself out, Josh. But this is big drama then for the championship leader, and Hamilton really throwing down the marker there. You've got to say this is going into the points' way at the moment.
Well, because we're not in the mumble, we can't hear any race directors.
Checker flags come out. The session's over.
So he must have not gone out in time and therefore can't do his lap.
I'm sure Pascal...
So that puts James Juba 5th then on the grid at a place where it's infamously difficult to overtake.
Nick, who's the race director this weekend?
Pascal.
Pascal, isn't it?
I asked Pascal, what happened
when he's not driving, of course. Right, we could
session
try it.
Are they going to work?
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed.
No, they're not.
Well, I've got the thing. So Joshua Hamilton will start on pole position from Oliver Perikian. I believe then it's Jarno Hermans. Pascal Eggert with that 1:19 will still beat James Juba to 5th then, because Juba just did not get a lap in at all. And that really puts his participation in the race in doubt if there is a wheel issue, indeed. But we'll update you on that as soon as we can. We might even hear from Juba himself in the Hunter Birch Discord. So he will start 5th ahead of Michael Steffel, Josh Hughes in 7th, Chris Servas 8th, Luca Gray 9th, Alden Gashi rounds out the top 10 from Michael Koch, Nick Konen, Tom Dillon 13th, Joop Blahoven 14th, Adam Coates 15th, Aidan Coleman 16th, Stefan Gosch 17th, Krzysztof Rosinski 18th, Peter Schumann 19th, and Jack Giordamana rounding out your field in Grid 1.
It just would help if I wasn't talking to the other esports team group chat. I need the Formula E team to congratulate Joshua on pole position.
Okay.
But he's not even here. Eddie's not there. You'll have to tag him and I'll tag him later. Anyway, grid's all setting up as well. Are we going to do the warm-up, Nick, or are we going to go straight into
the race?
Fantastic.
Okay. Well, let's hope Juba is okay then. I imagine Pascal's probably trying to sort things out now. Tom Dillon, of course, in that chat with him. Briefly go over, but I think there might be brew to distract them before the race starts. We also did ask 2 Hunter Birch drivers are allowed to go in the Mumble server with Juba and Dillon. But
well, they've got 2 in the com box anyway as well. Yeah.
I know, but I think Krzysztof and Jack are probably also. They might be in the Discord together, whereas those 2 are in the Mumble. Or they might actually also be in the Discord. Anyway, whatever the case, we could probably talk to them after the race.
I love how on the EERC timings that we're going to put in the comms box as well, it's got the 2 red lights to indicate the track is under a red flag. I love that feature that's been added this year. And we've even got a start light countdown, so it'll tell you when we are going green. Right now, we've had 48 seconds before, and we've even got a countdown now, so it's even better than before. So great job, guys, with all this.
Okay.
I wasn't aware.
We've got a few comments in the YouTube chat, which we can read out while we're waiting for the grid to form. Alton already there before everyone else, it would seem. So we got Stefan Nilsson says exciting. Space says I'm in space, and then has a picture of a cupcake. Josh T says F face has fallen to one side. A arms. Can they raise both arms and keep them there? S speech. Is their speech slurred? T. Time to call 999. I'm in the commentary mic helpline.
Is that me?
And now,
Thanks,
and now the most ironic comment, and for some reason the one I find the funniest, Josh Hamilton chimes in and says, "I've really messed up my laps." Ha ha ha. And then he puts it on Super Bowl, or actual poll, which is not just into Super Bowl, but into actual poll. But yeah, there we go. Juba, I think, is on the grid then, so it seems whatever his issue was, it's not hopefully going to affect him in the race. And here we go, the light's coming on then. So, in a couple of short seconds, see the London E-prix underway. And we are racing here in London XL, and it's a decent getaway from Josh Hamilton, but it's Hermans who actually accelerates really well and gets alongside Pericki and almost into the first corner, and that's Eggert right behind as well. Remember, Eggert third in the championship, can't afford to get himself taken out here as Hamilton holds on to the lead, and Juba now getting alongside Eggert, and round the outside goes, that looks like Hermans really holding on.
Kosh!
Here we go, so Juba almost pushed into the wall there as Kosh goes wide now, and then it's almost going to hit, that looks like Rosinski behind him. Yeah, Rosinski overtakes Coates then. So yeah, it's all getting very congested there on the first lap, but your order, Hamilton, Pericki, and Hermans, Eggert, Juba. So Juba's still down in fifth after that start.
Pericki touched the wall coming out of turn 12 as well. He had to check the car was
and
okay.
Up the inside goes Schumann on Coleman, and Steffel is out of the race. Michael Steffel, who finished in the top in Berlin, is already out of the race, so eliminated in the first corner melee then, as there's Pascal Eggert struggling to get past Hermans, and Juba right behind him as well. I think we're going to see a great fight for third then in his opening stint.
What a start! This is brilliant already as Pascal Eggert tries to hold off from Juba just behind him, and there is Aidan Coleman as well.
I don't think Aidan Coleman and Peter Schumann are going to be best buddies at the end of this one. The American struggling around, and there's Zervas trying to get around. That looks like Hughes ahead of him. Josh Hughes for XL Esports. He's got the inside. Is Hughes going to leave space? Indeed he does. There we go. And Hughes has almost got the other friend of Ond right behind him. They're all ganging up on him here. That's Kosh and Lahoven trying to attack. And Lahoven going up the inside there of Michael Kosh, the Season 4 champion. That's an impressive move. He can pull this one off, but Kosh has still got the inside as they go underneath, and it's too wide there. You can't go wide underneath the XL entrance, and they both almost lose the rears as they go through turn 6.
Synchronized drifting between the pair of them as well there.
Dashi once again sees a Finnerol driver spinning the wheels, and he licks his lips in anticipation, because I think Gashi wants to get back into the top 10 here. Here's Adam Coates challenging Rosinski ahead of him. So Rosinski's had a good start. John Amana has pulled clear of Coleman. So for Hunter Birch, FEZ actually having a pretty decent run in the lower end of Grid 1. But at the front, it's Juba trying to get past Pascal Eggert as they go uphill. And that's not a great run by Pascal. Is there going to be room here? Sure, he's going to turn in on him and almost squeeze him in the wall there. And there wasn't a lot of space there left at all.
Little bit of a damaged win for Juba as well. He got hit twice, and I think the steering looks okay to me, but that was
this has not gone to plan. I think Juba could very easily have outqualified Eggert and potentially Hermans as well, and I think he's really suffering from that.
It's already 5.5 seconds off Hamilton as well.
Yeah,
indeed, but as long as he can bank some points from this, he might still be able to recover something, but he can't afford to trip up on the back of Pascal Eggert. Hamilton now really setting out his stall then and starting off his championship on the best possible note. Tom Dillon in the sister car to James Juba in the pits then, so there must be some damage there that's being repaired. Dillon was sort of right in the middle of some of these sandwiches. Big crash. Who's that?
It looks like Kosh in the wall again.
Michael Kosh. Oh dear, and there's the steering, I think, not in the best position because he's fallen right behind Conan and Gashi. I did say Gashi licking his lips. I didn't think Kosh would reward him already. And Gray is
Juba's out.
Gray
has got past Juba. Juba's slowing, and that's the championship leader crawling to a halt. The wheel has died. The car has completely not stopped working at all, and it's all gone wrong for Hunter Birch Simulation with Dillon in the pits and Juba retiring from the race. They're not able to get it going again, and now Rosinski being overtaken by Zervas. for good measure, actually, as Coates and Kosh go into attack mode. But what a nightmare for Hunter Bird Simulation.
I feel like I should be on. I feel like I should be on the pit wall right now, just starting to talk to you all as well.
Consoling James Beaver because here we go. Schumann. Rosinski put in the wall, and another Hunter Bird Simulation driver in difficulties. That looks wonderful.
Zervas is in the pits.
Zervas must have taken damage as well. I think him, Rosinski, Coates and Schumann were sort of all fighting one another. And here we go, Rosinski about to lose another place, this time to Gosh. And he turns in on him. He's not going to get out of fight. Rosinski holds his nerve, but I wonder if there's damage to the right-hand wheel after being forced into the wall there. And that's a really small gap that Rosinski's going for there. But somehow he holds on from Stefan Gosh, who's in attack mode, of course. No wonder he's all over the back of Rosinski. And Coates ahead of him trying to really pull away.
Definitely something you can do with these Gen 2 cars, as well as be more dodging with them as well. But when we get to Gen 3 next season or the season after as well, with the open wheel covers, you've got to be a lot more careful, because if you hit side by side like that, you'll damage the wheels as well, and you don't have sort of the protection of the guarders you've got in the front here. But it's more like a demolition derby out there. It's what we saw in the first half of the race in London, what we tried to run a couple of months back. They're just not stopping, and they just continue to barge into each other. Here comes Josh Hughes as well, trying to go around the outside.
Yeah, Hughes has gone into attack mode, and he's come up behind Lahoven. So here we go. Hughes trying to get himself set up. So Jack in attack mode. So Jack attack incoming. But here comes Josh Hughes. He's going to go to the outside into turn one. I think he's going to try and go the long way around here, but he breaks very, very early and allows Lahoven to sort of do his own thing. Actually, right behind him as well. So this could get very, very tight indeed. Meanwhile, Eggert's still very close to Hermans in the battle for third. But even with Juba gone, I think Eggert can't really exactly get off. Josh Hughes, go! And that is the problem. I was so lucky that Conan didn't hit him from behind, because that was very, very marginal there. But Josh Hughes just about gets going again. And that extra power from attack mode, the 250 kilowatts, it is a lot of power. And if you get on it too early, then that's what can happen. There we go, Pascal Eggert into attack mode then to try and get past Jarno Hermans for third.
Attack mode here isn't actually too much of an advantage, because there's not that many long straights. So it's constantly you're on the power, and you have to be careful on the power.
You really have to time it well, as we see Eggert going towards the main straight then. And is that Hughes really struggling to recover then, as those ahead of him go into attack mode without losing position. So Josh Hughes, a little bit of a rookie mistake there, and unfortunately it's put him back down to 10th. But I'm sure he won't give up. He's not the giving up kind. A few of these guys are.
Tom Dillon's dropped down to 18th place again as well, and it looks like he's having not.
Yeah, Dillon was closing a bit on Zervas, but I think he might be about to be lapped by Hamilton before too long.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Almost over a minute behind on a minute 15 lap.
We have zero luck. We have zero luck of it.
Well, we had all the luck in Berlin, and it seems to be one of those races. But there's still a long way to go. I remember everyone got disconnected in the first time we did this, and Jordan Marnett somehow was the one that didn't, and he was able to get into the top 6. But here's Nick Conan, second behind Gashi in front of him. So Gashi making pretty good progress then in this early phase of the race from the top 10, the top 7.
Takes attack mode,
and comes out just behind. He's going to go round the outside of Pascal Eggert. Surely there's going to be just enough space there. Pascal plays very, very fair indeed. I thought you might have defended that one even harder, but they make a little bit of contact, and Pascal Eggert will have to be content then, staying in 4th. So the early attack mode, because he couldn't get past, it didn't quite work there. And there's Josh Hughes trying to go around the outside of Kosh.
He's chomping at the bit, isn't he, as well, actually, Pascal Eggert?
Yeah, Hughes has got quite some pace here, too.
He's going to come back quite charged, I think, as well. I can see him having a top 5th position by the end of this race. Yellow, Sector 3, and...
it's Schumann is just going to be overtaken by Coates for 11th.
I did spot that. I think you're right there as well.
And that's weird, because Schumann's in attack mode, so I think Schumann must have made a mistake somewhere.
Should we check the energy remaining?
Yeah, go on.
It's a bit early days, but... Yeah, it looks like Conan doing very well on 87. Everyone else ahead of him sort of on 85, 84. So everyone consuming a lot in this early phase, it seems, particularly at the front. But that might just be because they're a bit further ahead. As Perikian, first of the top 2 to go into attack mode. He's about 2 seconds behind us. Here we go. Eggert having another go at Hermans before his attack mode runs out. But I think Herman's going to gradually pull away now, because he's got a few minutes more of attack mode. So you get a little bit desperate around the outside at 10:16 from Pascal Eggert. Prukian has dropped to 2.5 seconds behind Hamilton, but will start to close the gap in now. So it'll be interesting. Early days in the championship. I wonder if into the points Prukian didn't do the first race either. So they're pretty much free to race one another. But I would suggest that Hamilton has probably got the edge at the moment, being the reigning champion. Big spin! That's Rosinski spinning and losing a wheel. He might be able to coast it back to the pit lane. Let's hope he doesn't hold up Jack Giordamana too much. They will be in communication with one another, but that is going to allow Gosh through. And he's going to really hold up Giordamana through the final few corners. You've only got 3 wheels, Krzysztof. Come on. And here we go. These two best buddies. I think Krzysztof was sort of put in a rock and a hard place there because he's desperately trying to get back to the pits.
He's definitely hit a hard place.
Indeed. It was a big spin, though. At least it was dramatic. You can't say more. So Jack Giordamana, the only one of the Hunter Birch simulation cars not to hit trouble in this race. As Krzysztof has the walk of shame back to the pits. I wonder if Dylan might have lost a wheel as well, which is why he was in earlier. But here's Schumann now, having a bit of a tete-a-tete with Coates for 11th position. Coates in the other XRL Esports having a pretty decent run. And now Schumann is surely going to be all over him as he might try and move into turn 16. Let's see what happens here. Prukian has actually dropped further behind Hamilton since going into attack mode. So all that extra power just makes you spin out, it seems. Lap. There we go. So that could be a prelude to Hamilton going into attack mode next lap. 1:15.4, as you say, Nick. And Peter Schumann just having a the inside and then having been cut across by Adam Coates.
So Schumann in P12 got how many seconds left? 10 seconds now of push to pass, and he can't get past Coates as much as he try. He'll have one last gasp at the last corner. Push now, accelerate now, use extra grunt. No, he's lost it. So he'll have to do that one purely on slipstream power. But Hamilton hasn't actually taken any attack mode yet. He's still got both of his left. Nick, is it 4 minutes to activations?
Just checking. It is 3 times 3 again.
So 3 minutes, 3 activations. Okay, so Hamilton saved them all up as Parkinson now drops to 25 seconds to go. So this is advantage Hamilton with the pacing card. And Eggert's in the wall. Just a quick slam dunk.
Eggert really pushing it over the bump and lucky not to run straight into the back of Jarno Hermans there. Hermans doing a great defensive job here, but Pascal Eggert really leaving nothing on the line there and flirting with disaster as he attempts to get onto the podium here. So this is, in the teams battle, this is very significant between Vinavond and VMS Orange. But in the Drivers' Championship, very important for Eggert not to lose too much ground here.
Well, of course, as well, Pascal Eggert, who's got Hermans just in front of him, he's sending a package the only way he knows how to a delivery by Hermans as well. Send it up the inside and smash the car up. Hermans.
See, I'm half expecting Pascal to do the Ray Stewart thing and sort of, you defended too aggressively, so I'll give you a 5-second penalty so I can take the podium from you. We'll see, because some of the instances were quite close, but I think Pascal, it looked like he was leaving just enough room earlier, so they might bring it down to fair racing so far. And I think Pascal, for his money, just lucky not to hit the back of him. But here we go towards the bump once again. The sparks flying at the rear as they go over.
Tom Dillon's out.
Into turn 16. And that's a wheel off, and that's the third car I think we've seen lose a wheel there. And it's that Tom Dillon is out of the race, actually, so he is just dropped out. And Pascal, someone else hits the wheel as well. That looked like one of the 360 cars. That must have been Luca Gray running over it. Gray up to fourth now. So it seems the fault of the... It seems everyone behind Jarno Hermans just seemed to drop out of the race, it seems. First we had Juba, and now Eggert. So
I told you, go near them. Big crash. Just a simple thing.
So Hughes, meanwhile, is about to run out of attack mode. As he's, I think, been able to get back in front of Michael Koch a few laps ago. As we're into lap. Oh dear!
Eggert
was going approaching. Still that's not changed.
Yeah,
you crash out, you remain out.
It's because he was dropping down.
Going into attack mode there.
Yeah, Eggert was dropping down, and my brain didn't twig.
So it looks like we've got 4 retirements then. Steffel, Juba, Dillon, and Eggert then. It's still Josh Hamilton extending out that lead to 7.5 seconds from Oliver Parikian. Jarno Hermans third, from Luca Gray in the top 4 now. Joop Blahoven is 5th. out just a second ahead of Alban Gashi, who's moved up now to 6th.
Yeah.
Conan, we're watching on at the moment, is into 7th. With Hughes up to 8th.
let me
In
get
9th,
this
and
wrong.
Adam Coates ran out of top 10.
Are we actually saying that the highest place Hunter Birch simulation car is Jack Giramana?
Indeed it is. That's big spin for Michael Koch. And that puts Schumann through. So a bit of kibosh for Koch. Lucky not to take too much damage there. But the Season 4 champion gets going again.
Nick, you've really got to up your game here. I've heard nothing from you this evening. And you had that broom one back at Snetterton.
The rake.
Yeah,
well, the reason you've heard nothing is because he's had to fill in when you were out earlier.
Yes, that's true.
So James Juba tapped the wall and lost his rear wheel. So did Pascal.
So that was what happened. So that happened at the chicane, and Pascal we saw hit a bit later on. I wonder if Michael Steffel might have had a similar collision too. So some big hitters being eliminated then.
Who was the first one, Nick?
Steffel was the first to hit, I think.
Tuba was another one, correct?
Yeah.
I heard you say.
Juba hit it first, then
Juba,
Dylan, and then Egg.
Gosh has had a bit of a detour. He's carried on.
Do you want me to say that the bells definitely rang for Jubilee? You could say it's Jubilee bells as well.
That's really bad. As we see Stefan Gosh going into the pit lane, I think the steering on Gosh car is... he really stops awkwardly in front of the Nissan pits. But the steering on that VMS car did not look too good. No, Gosh isn't VMS. He's a different team. As here, Jordan has got... it looks like Luston. Zervas is now right behind Jordan because Zervas has gone, I think, into... Oh, no, he hasn't. Jordan has got past him with attack mode. As Zervas has a bit of a rub with the wall, but seems to have gotten away with it.
I think he's crabbing. The way he was going down that straight as well.
Gashi's had Gashi and Conan are battling, or Lahoven.
Yeah, so Gashi is dropped behind Lahoven now. Oh, no, he was already behind. So Gray is really holding off Lahoven to the tune of 7 seconds. And then Lahoven has got Gashi and Conan behind him. So here we go. Gashi really having to get defensive because Lahoven's starting to really pull away. His older rear steps out on the VMS red of Gashi. As we see yellow in...
Yellow sector 1.
I think Jack Jordan's strategy, because he's running out of attack mode now.
Coleman.
That's Coleman in trouble. Coleman we saw in difficulties at the beginning of the race. Now behind, that looks like Gosh in front of him.
Is he crabbing?
Doesn't look too bad.
Hang on, here we go. A little bit, I think. Not a lot, though.
Now, that's him turning into a right-hander, though, as we see Gray about to run out of attack mode.
Whoa!
The rear steps out, and if there wasn't damage before, that almost damage going to be very soon.
What are you doing?
And he hits Lahoven and Gashi. Gashi spins around, and that's a big mess. So Coleman in exactly the wrong place there. So thankfully, they all get going in the same positions they were, but Coleman not really obeying lapping procedure by blocking the middle of the track with that spin. And the 360 car living up to its name very much.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Aiden.
Yeah, there we go. So the American continues on in 15th position. I was just about to say, Jack Giordamana. I think Jack's strategy at the moment is just to not make any mistakes and just keep going, and despite his lack of pace compared to those around him, because it seems to work for him so far.
In that case, if he's American, howdy, my name's Aiden. How's that any better for you?
I guess, yeah. Bonjour, je m'appelle Oliver sort of works if you're Parisian, maybe. I'd be inside because they were in Paris when they did that. So yeah, as we're in London, so I don't think there's a London.
Top of the morning to you. No, it's Irish.
No, sorry. You have to do it in Cockney rhyming slang.
But anyway, Conan is still all over the back of Gashi, who's no doubt furious that he got spun around there, which allowed Lahoven, who I think might have taken a bit of damage from Coleman there. So Gashi just got spun around, but Lahoven had a big impact with him there.
I'd be very surprised if they got away with that with no damage.
Nah, and definitely I think for Coleman, he'll be going up the apples and pears to the stewards.
Anyway,
he's on his dog and bone to try and get him out of it.
So Conan closing on the back of Gashi, who right on board the front nose cone, and looking for a way into the top 6 is the Finavon driver. And Conan, of course, very impressive in qualifying, but yet to really get a big result here is Gashi braking really early in the penultimate corner uphill, because I think he sees some traffic up ahead, and he wants to time his exit really well here.
If this was true, London, we'll have a policeman standing in the middle going with a whistle, just stopping the traffic and letting the others go through.
What do you think you're doing here?
And Josh Hamilton goes into his first attack mode up front.
Zervas without a front.
Wheel off. Hello,
Yeah,
hello, hello.
that-
Something's not right there.
That looks like that could be Zervas on a very walk of shame through the final sector to the pit lane and just trying to stay desperately out of everyone's way. And that's the thing now. I think we might have to get people, because at least Eggert, Dylan, and Juba, when they lost the wheel, they sort of thought, right, game over, and didn't try and crawl around. Might be because they lost the rear wheels, though.
Oh, touch! He touched there.
Lahoven.
I think that was
Lahoven.
Conan. That might have been Conan hitting the back of Gashi. I think Lahoven's a bit further up the road.
Oh, there's a bit of suspension on the track.
Oopsies.
Well, that's certainly Zervas' suspension, I'd wager. It looks
did you
like
see
Conan
the
is going to
wheel?
try up the inside.
It did, yeah.
Hit the wheel and
There's-
sent it for 6.
It's bargain bin Formula E car. You probably have enough to build your own Formula E car out of all the wreckage from the 6 cars I think that have crashed so far. But here comes Conan then, looking for the little chink in the armor that could help him through. But Gashi, he's overcome a lot in this race to get up into the top 6. He's not going to give it up without a fight, as that's actually Josh Hughes, not too far behind. The further the Josh is interacting with this race, with Josh Hamilton leading, and then Joshua Birch in the commentary
We've got
box.
Josh Hughes as well.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah, that's what I mean. Josh Hughes,
take
Josh
over.
Hamilton, Josh Birch. So
We
that's
take
the
over
triple
a lot.
Josh, the trifecta,
Yeah.
the triple crown.
You thought one was scary enough as well. I'll tell you what.
The
when
Father,
you said about,
Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yes, that's it, yeah. When you were on about as well, the bargain bin section as well, all I could think of is that really British advert from the early 2000s. That guy pushing signs over says, you buy one, you get one free. So you buy one,
Oh,
you get one
Conan's
free.
got to run, but Gashi defends as they go towards the chicane, and there's no room up the inside for the Finnebon driver. Conan will have to regroup then.
Well, can you just have him knocking over Formula E cars?
I'm sure we can get an edit somewhere just in knocking cars out the way.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Josh Hamilton setting fastest laps of the race again, 1:15.4 with attack
quite-
mode.
Yeah, my
Conan second
time
attack
is
mode.
stopped.
Yeah, there we go. So Conan has got a bit fed up with the back of Gashi's car. He wants to try and make a move. Interested to see the energy levels, because I think Lahoven, if Berlin was anything to go by, was using up a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite a
Lahoven
spread.
59. There is quite a spread then in the amounts of top 10, really.
Herman's 60.
Wow. Giamana's
Yeah, Herman's
60 as well.
Gashi 64, Conan 65. Whereas Hamilton's
trust-
only on 56.
Wow. Trust Jack to say, well, Hamilton's got the most space between him and the car behind, about 10 seconds at the
True, but
moment.
that wouldn't make up the 8% he's got less than Conan.
So, but Hamilton could be trying to end the race a lap earlier, so all these people saving energy might not actually be able to use the
Or
benefit
he's
of it.
horrifically miscalculated.
Could be. So who knows?
Seen that
Maybe
before.
Hermans and Jordan will go past everyone on the final lap. We'll see, but that would be quite a sight.
Jordan
Wouldn't object to it.
domination.
I don't think
Yeah,
we'll ever live it down if he does that.
Yeah. Well, Jack. To be fair, I think Jack is often one of the best that sort of whenever you see him watching a race.
What?
But big crash for Conan, and the attack mode did not work out there. That was straight into the wall over
It's
the
that
bump
bump
there, and the
again,
car
yeah.
became very unstable.
Oh, another one.
Oh, John Amana! Oh, what a save there! He somehow managed to avoid it. Was that Rosinski maybe? But I think it was
no,
actually John Amana.
I think it's Jordan Money, yeah.
I've got to keep my voice
Wow.
down.
Great cat-like reflexes from Jack Giordamano, who,
Oh, this car
coincidentally,
doesn't
I've
look
seen his
healthy.
cat. I've seen his
No,
cat as well,
it's-
but look at the Conan steering is looking wonkier than my nose at the moment.
Is his cat called Jack Jordan Meowner?
Oh, God.
No, I can't remember what his cat's called as Conan comes into the pit
I'm
lane.
disappointed.
So
Well,
there
if
we
it-
go.
if
So
going for-
Giordamano should be able to make up the lap behind he is to him. I think it might have been Rosinski, actually, because I think Rosinski's a lap down, whereas Jack Giordamano, I think, is just about on the lead lap.
Generally,
we'll
my
see.
friend had a cat and
No,
literally called
Giordamano, they're both a lap down. So-
Yeah, a friend of mine had a cat and literally called it Pussy Galore. Seriously, I wasn't dreaming either.
That's
that was
accurate.
generally
Well,
the thing.
Well, some people really like Goldfinger. What can
I
you
just
say?
like human names where they just call that. You see a cat and they're just like, this is called Bob.
Yeah,
Gary.
I called my fish Bob. And it was that, do you know, Bob died twice.
He died.
I'm not even thinking that. Yeah, I'm not even saying that, oh, they just went to a pet store and get another one. No, Marina died, and Bob looked like he was dead too. But then, Mum literally, I watched her do it, put him in a little tub with some water in it, and wafted him around, and he brought him back to life. Literally, Bob died twice. He lasted another 2.5 years after that. So
Well, I guess
Bob
you could
died
say
twice.
I guess you could say he only lived twice as well.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, but it was
Another
only for
crappy
our.
Bond reference.
It was for our eyes only, so that's all right.
All right.
His
We
name
were the
was-
spectators.
Maybe there was no. Maybe there was no time for Bob to die.
Oh, God.
Okay. Anyway,
Oh.
Brickian, interestingly, has cut the gap to Hamilton to just 8.4. So it looks like Josh Hamilton has realised he's heard us in commentary and realised he needs to save a bit of energy to get to
Or
the end
he's-
of the race.
He's just laughing at fish ponds.
But here, Hamilton and Perikian are exactly the same on energy as we see Perikian, I think, just lapping. That looks like Coleman. Must be.
Yes.
Surprisingly, Peter Schumann is the last one on the lead lap in 9th. Michael Koch is a lap down. Everyone, Nick Coden onwards is 2 laps down.
Do you want to make it
Coleman
better
looks
as
like
well?
he's
He
having
was
a
a
bit-
goldfish, so you've got golden eye, goldfish.
Goldfinger,
Goldfinger, golden eye. And all that, so.
the man with the golden gun.
Yeah, that's it. You could say that for Bob, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Live and let
I don't
die.
know. Yeah, that's it. Oh dear. Where's that? I've got that Bond CD somewhere. I need to find that. I was playing it in the car. The Living Daylights as well. That's a-
Daylight.
Right. Okay.
How'd you get
You're-
Moonraker into this?
I don't know. I think as a fish, he took a giant leap for mankind. I don't know.
Well, the hardest one to do would be on Her Majesty's Secret Service. This was in Coleman losing it in the final sector.
Well,
the car's
that's-
still not fully recovering, but on Her Majesty's Secret Service is a hard one to do because obviously Her Majesty's no longer with us. It's
Yeah.
we've got a new monarch, so I guess that would be His Majesty. But
that
anyway,
sounds
here's
amazing.
Gashi right behind Larhoven, so he's caught back up. It's quite the drive from Gashi. He's actually managed this race
Coleman's
incredibly
back
well.
In the pits.
Yeah.
He's like Luca
DNF.
Gray. He really likes it in the pits.
I think Coleman's retiring now. Actually.
He's out.
So
yeah.
that's a big shame for the 360 driver. Luca Gray, though, still in the top 4, having a pretty solid race.
Conan's still
considering
in the
he
pits.
qualified.
That was a considerable whack.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say: a moment on the lips, a lifetime in the pits.
Right, so Gashi closing on the back of Joe Blahoven and Josh Hughes closing on the back of them in his XRL car. So this could be a very good freeway battle here, and Blahoven, I think, is really going to get the anchors out. If the rest of the race is anything to go by, Gashi is going to crash out after a few laps of getting frustrated behind Blahoven, but I kind of hope for his sake he doesn't.
Yeah, we don't want a gashy smashy.
Gashi Bashi, yes. But anyway, Blahoven, who himself has actually driven a pretty decent race in terms of just defending while people behind him crash out, I guess. They are a long way behind the leaders, though, at this phase. Let's have a look. About 58 seconds, nearly a whole minute down is Blahoven and Gashi. And
Conan
18 minutes
still
left
in
to
the
go.
pits.
Yeah, so Nick Conan having another pit stop, which is going to put Jack Giordamano, I believe, into the top 11, or unless he's on a different lap, of course. Whoa! Rear spinning. Is that Michael Koch being let through by Nick Conan there?
I hope not, because they're on different teams.
Okay.
Despite being in the same
no.
team.
That's Conan passing Koch, I think, actually. Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't know that my mic was on there.
No worries.
No.
I think
we see
he went for
Blahoven and...
attack mode and missed.
Oh, there we go. So that's Gashi through into the top 5 then, with that mistake from Blahoven. And looks like Hughes is on attack mode too, so the pain could really be doubled here for Joe Blahoven. And I would suspect Josh Hughes is going to... He's really learnt from that mistake earlier with attack mode. Let's hope he has anyway. Otherwise, this could be a very short race indeed for him in the next few minutes.
I'm trying to think of Bond references.
It was a great save, actually, it must be said, despite losing positions. Because he probably would be ahead of Gashi if he hadn't done that. But, yellow in the third and final sector. Not sure who that is.
9th position, Schumann. She's come up as Schumann on my driver tracker that he was going slow, but right there he is, looking perfectly good.
Schumann in 9th
good.
position then. Sort of in no man's land between Coates and Koch.
It's a very
Conan is
spread out
coming into the
Formula E
pits again.
race. I think
Unless that's an error with the graphic.
Yeah, let me
You need to refresh it, I think.
The good old
But in actually comes, in fact, as we said, in comes, that's Conan into the pit. So he is actually coming into the pits again. The timing graphic was sort of precognizant.
is catching Hamilton.
Oh, ever so slightly. The gap's 7 seconds.
Hemorrhaged about 2 seconds.
Yeah, Perikian was 2 tenths faster in the first sector there. And
infamy. They've all got to-
4 tenths faster in the previous lap. Perikian.
Yeah, this is a good opening lap times as well. Now we're seeing as well as who's that taking a second attack mode as well. I can't see on my monitors. It's
Lahoven, Hughes, and Coates who are in it at the moment. It's Perikian too now going into it. So Perikian on a charge then. But he was about the same in terms of energy.
Yeah, 6.3 it's come down now to as well. So he's gaining a lot of time to Hamilton. Hamilton as well. I don't know if he's trying to save energy or he's trying to get this race to a certain point. We've still got another 15 minutes to go as well. We've done 31 minutes and 30 seconds. So there's still an awful long way to go.
Yellow flags.
Yeah, they just keep coming up. I'm looking at the driver track, but no one's making any mistakes.
Whenever anyone brushes the wall, maybe.
Someone just dived. Someone's just gone into the pit lane as well. Because I'm seeing drivers disappearing from the driver tracker and not reappearing. So
that was Conan. Yeah. So Conan going into pit put Giordamana up to 11th actually. So I think Giordamana, his best finish is 12th. I think so. If he can get into the top 11, even top 10, that would be quite a result for him. Personally, we see someone really getting an awkward turn in there in the that looked like Lahoven as he's trying to defend from Hughes. Hughes is about to run out of attack mode. Lahoven's actually caught right back up to the back of Gashi now, so it's really kind of a yo-yo between these three. Hamilton. There we go. Josh Hamilton in attack mode then. So he should start to pull back away. The yo-yo extending again.
Should we have a look at it? We haven't looked at him the whole race.
He's ahead of traffic.
He's just slapped it then. As the rear spins out.
Yeah.
He just about saves that one. But that's one of the XRL cars. I think that must be Coates that he's just lapped there.
Yeah, every single time we see a driver on the attack mode as well, as soon as they hit the accelerator as well, the rear car just backs out massively. And it becomes literally a drifter. Nick, you've driven this car as well. Is it a feature that the attack mode gives you an extra boost at the back and you really have to control the rears? Or is this something you were seeing?
The cars we're using this season even, that's what we're talking about, are the 2022 cars which have a higher attack mode to what we used, higher powered attack mode to what we used last season. So it's probably.
Is it 250 or is it nearly 270? I think that's with
250.
I think that's with fan boost as well, or whatever.
It's higher than it was last season.
One of the Finneron drivers are getting a really slow run through the chicane. That's number 14 there.
So yeah, it's probably just getting used to the higher powered attack mode.
That's Zervas, of course, at the very rear of the field, being lapped again by the race leader. So the big battle here is Lahoven Gashi, with Hughes about a second behind. And I think there's someone lapped behind in between them as well, just getting out of the way. That looks like Coates.
Energy?
Well,
I don't know where that came from.
I didn't invite you on here to sing.
No, we're here.
Okay.
As well.
All right, well.
Literally, I did karaoke with my friend Jade as well at my mum's 60th birthday party as well, singing Summer Nights as well. I've never been
look at the energy of the cars, not your own energy.
Oh well. Tell me more.
Right, okay. So Perikian looks like he's burnt up a bit of energy. He's on 29%, I think, and 33 for Hamilton, 38 for Hermans.
43 though. 40.
Yeah, Gashi really playing it safe here. Could Gashi go on a real charge? Or are they saving so much energy because they don't want to crash out of the race?
I've never seen such a spread in the same field before. Like Perikian's on 29 and
Whoa! Go on, dive on the inside.
Leaves a little gap for Lahoven, and Lahoven almost able to get through, but there wasn't quite the space on exit. He was always going to get cut off around the inside, and this puts right behind Lahoven is not Hughes, actually. Hughes seems to have dropped off a bit. That looks like one of their teammates has been lapped. It must be Zervas, who's in attack mode himself and about to run out.
He's lost 4 seconds to Hamilton.
Wow, 12.2.
Yeah, so that really shows the pace of Hamilton, how much he's really just kept it under control, or he's been held up by lapped cars.
I think that's the more likely option.
Probably,
Don't worry, we'll have a safety car later, and then lap cars can overtake.
The pressure is really going to build later in the race for these guys still running, because the big points on offer here for Gashi and Lahoven and Hughes particularly. And if they bin it, then I think they're really going to hurt it. So the pressure not to crash out is going to be huge, especially with these lapped cars as Lahoven gets a little bit of drift on. And his teammate in Finnerbon, is that Finnerbon Blue just behind him. So he's really keen to unlap himself.
No?
Yeah. No, it's not Zerva. I got that wrong. It must be Conan. It must be Conan who's coming to the pits.
Conan's- yeah.
George
Here he is.
Marner is actually catching Kosh.
3.2.
Oh no,
gap,
I said that, he lost a second immediately.
Well, I'm sure Jack will appreciate you saying that. So
I
yeah,
tried.
3.5 seconds between the two there. So we'll keep a little eye on that battle. Of course, I think what's more likely is Larhoven, Hughes, and Gash are going to crash into each other. I think that's more likely. George Marner being able to catch up and overtake.
Gashi looks like he's driving really carefully, which he does not need to do because he's got way too much.
Well, you
damage.
say that, but
Yeah.
the amount of high-profile retirements so far, I would argue he absolutely needs to not bin it. And like I said, when you're in the top 5 and you've never finished in the top 5 before, as is the case for Alban Gashi, the pressure really ramps up as the race goes
he's
on.
gone
10
wide
minutes
there.
to go. He's got 2 really angry Formula 1 cars right behind him, and then Josh Hughes in the XRL not far behind either. So, yeah, Gashi really in a battle here, and the pressure will only get worse from here.
There's a bit of smoke coming through there as well on the lockup as well. So
Oh, well, they
he's
are
touched the brake
Dutch.
somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like he isn't pushing. It might be braking really hard. Actually, he's more likely to lift and coast if he's trying to save energy. But, yeah.
Just snagging the brakes.
Last lap for Gashi, 1:17.2. So only about 2 tenths
Okay,
off
decent.
of Luca Gray and Herman's last lap.
Oh!
Oh, dear!
Oh, and that's
Gashi
the
in the
living
wall
daylights
and
out of me.
Larhoven in the wall. And that's really going to allow Hughes to catch up as well.
That's one way to overtake.
Indeed.
Even though
Yeah,
he didn't-
sliding with the rear.
No, yeah, Larhoven hit the back
He's the
and
base.
he went off as well. So that's the danger when you try that kind of move. But yeah, I think the bump just destabilized both of them there. Well, but especially Larhoven, and they may have taken some damage here as well, which
Yeah.
could
Gosh,
affect
does
their
have an
pace.
issue? No, it's another
There's a
phantom
big
yellow flag.
opportunity for Hughes now, as Gosh is, I think, caught up to the back of Ruzinski.
17 and
gosh.
a half seconds the gap at the front now.
Indeed.
Wow.
So Hamilton, a country mile then ahead of his teammate Perikian.
If
But
your name
Larhoven
is Hamilton, do you just excel? Honestly, is it just that
Excel.
you're just
Well,
so fast? Yeah.
Set that one up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
I've been here all week.
Oh, it looks like Josh Hughes is really pushing to try and catch up to these two now. But because I saw him really on the rear spin, and Larhoven spinning the wheels as well.
Ed, if you don't say Hamilton has excelled at the Excel, I'm really disappointing you as a commentator.
Oh, Larhoven did well not to hit the inside there. He really had to have a second go turning in there. As Gashi pulls to the right. What's happened to Gashi here?
What has happened to Gashi?
Has he
He's
been
dropped
disconnected?
massive.
Disappeared.
I
Oh,
think
and
it's a
Larhoven
disconnect.
slows. Is that Hughes getting by?
No,
Has
I
he
think,
stopped?
his game
Because
may
Gashi's
have-
disconnected.
Disconnected. There we go. So Gashev doing so well, cruelly denied there, and that
Jordan
moves
Martin's up
everyone
to
behind.
10th.
There we go. And crucially puts Hughes up to 6th and Larhoven up to 5th. I think Hughes is now right behind Larhoven.
He is, that's the car behind.
So Josh Hughes has not given up on a top 5 here. That would be
Gashi's
a big
back.
result
He's
for him.
reconnected.
Oh, there we go. So disappointment there. Gashi back in the top 8 though.
Well,
And he's gone
never
into
say
attack mode
die.
somehow.
Yeah, never say die.
Never say never again.
I thought that was a joke, Taz. I thought it was never say die or whatever it is.
Live and
No,
let
that was the-
disconnect.
There we go. So Gashi. Tomorrow indeed never dies as Gashi
Oh,
continues into the race. And 21 seconds ahead of Schoenman, so
Oh,
he's got a big gap.
Jordan Marner has caught Kosh.
There we go. So the thing we said wouldn't happen has happened. So that shows us
when does
ye of
McConnell come
little
on?
faith.
Fight yourself.
So here we go, the battle for 10th position then. And I think it's like the everyone 11th downward gets, I think, 1 point, but 10th gets 2 points. This is a battle for that extra point then.
Now there's
Jordan Marner.
everyone gets a lot of points. It's very
So here we go. Jack Jordan
Everyone's
Marner.
a winner, baby. That's for two.
So Jack Jordan Marner, part-time sim racer, editor and real manager of Formula E Zone, battling Michael Koch, professional sim race handler and a season 4 champion of EERC Formula E. So you got to say, Jordan Marner not exactly the favourite to come out on top in this battle, but the underdog often has a way of surprising us here. As Perikian goes into what I think is his final attack mode in a last-ditch
got
attempt.
damage or something. Well, I don't know. He's lost 10 seconds or 15
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
Jordan
got
Marner's
that
starting to
massive-
pull back from Koch, so I think Koch may have made a mistake, which has put him into the clutches of Jordan Marner. Here is Perkin needs to make sure the steering looked a little like it was going to the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here we go on the straight. Yeah, it's
Wow.
really crabbing. That is Robin Friends at Putrajaya crabbing. And Herman's only 20 seconds behind. Perkin goes very deep and actually lets the lapped car, one of the VMS cars, through. That must be
What was that?
Gashi.
Yeah, what was that Pascal said about returning everything in pristine condition at the end of the mission? Hasn't really worked out, has it?
You have to be alert on a street circuit.
Indeed you do. And yeah. There's some people who've been super alert, so alert that they've unintentionally ran into the back of someone else who's crashed out or been hit in the back by someone else. And
So British though, isn't it, as well? You can tell we're in London. Oh dear, I seem to have run into the back of you. I do apologise.
It's fine, they're on Her Majesty's breakdown service.
Yes! We worked it in, well done!
Anyway, Hughes now only a 10th behind Larhoven, and just about to make a move, I think. There's no real attack mode. It's like, the rear stepping out of the final corner there. Am I behind? Am I behind? Because I've just seen Hughes stepping out, going to the start-finish line now.
You're all good, same with me. And yeah, they're all sliding around as well.
Okay.
Perfectly
Saying ooh made me think he had seen something before I'd seen it.
Zervas pits.
No,
But yeah, okay, good. Zervas in the pits again. In attack mode, to the great use of it in the pit.
He is doing it, Degrassi.
So, yeah. Don't forget, he has to actually physically come to a stop before continuing. Otherwise, you'll. I thought that was genius from Degrassi. I did say it at the time with Ed in the commentary as well. It's a genius idea, but it goes against the sporting nature. But that was a brilliant tactical decision he had, and it's a shame it didn't work.
And we didn't actually see on the broadcast because it was for their eyes only.
Oh.
We saw it on the replay there. Anyway.
Oh dear.
Right, so 4.5 minutes left to go in the race.
I suppose it had to be
leads by 28 seconds.
I suppose the only way to be a spectre of that is if you're in the grandstand.
Or if you've got a golden eye.
Oh,
or a view to a kill.
I was about to find a way in for that one.
A view to kill, everyone's favourite on the movie. Well, my Roger Moore is stunt doubled half of the time.
Yeah.
And it also had Christopher Walken and what's her name? I can't remember the name of the singer.
The one right at the start, yeah. All Time High, isn't it, as well? That song for that one, isn't it? Or was that Octopussy's one? Can't remember that one.
I think that's Octopussy. But anyway.
Can't work that one anyway.
Right, okay. Anyway, enough about James Bond movies. Anyway, here's Jack Giordamano. Instead of James Bond, we got Jack Giordamano at the wheel here. Who's the highest placed British driver? I think it's Hughes at the moment.
No, Hamilton.
No, Luca Gray, of course. It's Luca Gray. Oh, Hamilton leading, of course.
Yeah, my favourite Liverpool.
I got that wrong. Of course, well, I mean, who else is more famous in Liverpool? Anyway, is Giordamano being caught by Nick Conan behind him now? So Conan, after his pit stop, was really fought back, and he's in attack mode at the moment. So I think Jack Giordamano is going to be a bit of a sitting duck here. What can he really do to defend as we go into the final 3 minutes? Here we go. Onto the main straight, and he pulls over to the left, and Giordamano is really going to break late on the outside here, but he can't do it. Conan's through.
Damn.
And Conan could well get into the top 10 here if he can catch up to Kosh in the, not the teammate, but the sister car. They both have to really awkwardly let Josh Hamilton through just as they go exit the car park of XL and go underneath the entrance. So Giordamano, who was running such a great race, sort of just being pipped here at the end for 11th position. As Gosh has caught Rosinski in the other Hunter Birch FEZ car, so it goes from bad to worse for Hunter Birch simulation.
Never that
Rosinski
good,
once again undone, but Rosinski will at least didn't he win and finish effectively 14th in Grid 2 last time? So he's not doing worse. He's not doing any worse than last time.
Everyone's going to get to the end on energy.
Thank God for that. But I'll tell you what, for Hunter Birch simulation, me and Ed, we really are in a quantum of solace. Which translates to statement of regret. So we really are in a quantum of solace.
Josh Hughes really lets the rear step out and does well not to crash it into the wall there at the final.
Josh.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
I guess Josh Hughes picking them, deciding to die another day. As we go into the final minute and a
He
half.
scared the living
And it
daylights
looks
out
like,
of me with that one.
Yes, Gashy's still doing the best on energy, but he's dropped down to 8th with all the shenanigans going on around. And the lowest on energy is actually Perikian. And Hamilton, of course, ahead of him, with Gray not too far behind either. But everyone around on 9 or 10% at the very least. So it's looking like everyone's going to get to the finish then. Everyone being very conservative. If you've got anything left in the tank, now's the time to use it then, as Conan is glued to the back of Michael Koch there, the Season 4 champion, desperately trying to hold on to that 10th place finish.
And
if these two crash into each other, Jordan might not take advantage. Here comes Conan then, and that looked very, very straightforward. Just Jordan Minor closes in and almost has a little... That's desperate, and he almost crashes into the back of Michael Koch, but somehow manages to keep going without taking too much damage.
Yeah, it's a shame no one's got any attack mode left as well. That could have been a really thunderbolt of what they needed as well. A real thunderbolt.
Michael Koch did. Considering Michael Koch was in the pit lane, this is a great recovery drive. How far? Yeah, he's 2 seconds behind Schumann, so it's probably a bit too far of a gap to make up. But here comes Hamilton, who has driven an exemplary race. Juba failed to beat his qualifying time, failed to even get out of the pit lane. Perikian has really failed to hold the stick to him. And the rig drifts out and that shows the confidence that Josh Hamilton, that he's pushing for the fastest lap on the very final lap. I think he's going to take fastest lap comfortably anyway. 15.4. Closest is Perikian, is about 2 tenths behind him.
The world is not enough for it.
I was about to say that. I was literally saying the race is not enough as well. You literally took.
And once again, the rear drifting out. So even not in attack mode, Josh Hamilton using up the last of his energy on this very final lap of the race. Through the last couple of corners he goes.
The energy comes.
He's showing off now.
Yeah, the energy comes from Russia with love.
Well, there we go. A nice little bit of social commentary as well as a Bond reference there. But here we go. Through the last couple of corners. The rear spinning, but nobody could stop Joshua Hamilton today. A reigning champion, our joint reigning champion, number 1 on his car, number 1 on the track. He wins his home race, the London E-prix, to euphoric applause. He excels at the Excel. It's victory for Joshua Hamilton, and we have to wait 35 seconds now for his teammate Oliver Perikian to come through. But Jack Giornomano just misses out to Michael Koch in the battle for 11th place, but still a great show by the two of them. Wow. Michael Koch recovering well. And here's Perikian coming through then to take a well, and I don't think Perikian's finished on the podium before, has he? I think he was in the top 4 once, but I don't think he's ever finished on the podium. Here we go through the final corner, and it's a first podium then, and a 1-2 for Into the Points Red to kickstart their team's championship challenge, and they've really laid down an imperious marker for everyone else today.
Yeah, Doctor, nobody could beat them today.
Well,
but let's not forget. Not far behind, 9 seconds behind Perikian, will be Jarno Hermans in VMS Sun Edits. He will take and go into the pit lane immediately, so he finishes in the pit lane. So disappointment for Gray then. He would have hoped he would have done that earlier. But Luca Gray will come out to take his best finish for 360. Top 4 for 360. They just miss out on the podium, though, to a brilliant Jarno Hermans.
I will admit, though, it's quite nice for Joshua Hamilton, a British driver, on the day that Her Majesty the Queen returns to the sovereign soil as well. It really was on Her Majesty's Secret Service he performed that mission.
Yeah, absolutely, and Josh Hamilton will be delighted with that. I'm not really much of a royalist, but yeah, certainly that
Luca Gray is so high up, you could call him
a seal of royal approval.
You could call him a moon breaker.
Yes, we got it.
Anyway, shall we go through the final results then? Victory for Josh Hamilton with Oliver Perikian following behind about 38 seconds in the end. It was a very big margin of victory, one of the biggest we've ever seen in EERC Formula E. Jarno Hermans takes 3rd for VMS Sun, and it's taking his first podium in his 2nd appearance, actually. Luca Gray takes 4th, his best ever finish. Larhoven takes 5th for Finnebon Motorsport Purple. Josh Hughes is 6th for XRL Esports. A great drive by Josh Hughes to get into the top 6. Adam Coates, his teammate, just behind, is only by about 3 seconds. So Coates actually recovered really well in this race. Gashi will be disappointed to come away with 8th after contact between himself and Larhoven. Schumann is 9th for Finnebon White. a long way down in 9th. Then it is Conan, who recovered into the top 10, beating Michael Koch in 11th as we move on to the second page results. Jack John O'Mara equals his best ever result in 12th for Hunter Birch FDZ. Stefan Gost is 13th. Ruzinski is 14th, so he equals his essentially his finish from winning a Grid 2 in Berlin. Chris Zervas is 15th, and Aidan Coleman, I think, rounds out off. Oh no, he's 19 laps down. Coleman didn't make the finish, did he? So Coleman, the first of our DNFs, Zervas rounds out the field. Eggert also crashing out early on. Disappointment for the man who finished third last time out. Dylan and Juba, big disappointment for Hunter Birch Simulation after such a strong performance in Berlin. And Michael Stevel as well. His race didn't really get going. So they'll be one to forget for all those drivers there. But certainly for Josh Hamilton, he'll be delighted. So let's see if we can get any interviews. Shall I...
well, we're in Discord. I've asked anyone that wants them to join General, and I'll drag them over because they won't have access.
Okay, so because you can't get into Mumble, I'm going to have to switch over there, Josh. But
Well,
I hope you enjoyed that race.
Yeah,
Any final...
we can do interviews there. It's fine.
I can disappear now if you like me to go over to Mumble as well. No problem at all. So you can have driver interviews.
Okay.
I'll happily stay away. I'll leave you with this then. Fantastic race, fantastic Bond references. What's the next race, Nick? Well, in Mexico.
Mexico City.
Right,
28th of September.
I'll get some Mexican puns out then as well.
I'm going to be on holiday in Scotland during then, so I will be able to do the commentary, but it'll be from a unique location, I guess.
I think we've got
In the Highlands.
Chris Zervas.
I might have to drop out. It depends what we're doing that night. Anyway, we'll work it out as when we get to it.
Chris Evans is joining us in the commentary box. Which one? The car guy or the actor?
What?
You said Chris Evans is with us.
No, Chris Zervas.
Chris
Oh, right,
Zervas.
okay. Oh, right, okay.
Chris Zervas, fresh off the service, to join us. So Chris Zervas has just finished, I believe, his first race in EERC Formula E at a particularly high position, but he still made it to the end when so many lost their head, Chris. An absolutely crazy race there. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, first lap went kind of well, turn 1 from P8, but then I lost it on P2 and got a bit tilted. So yeah, the rest of the race I was trying to raise my head more than the car. But it was fun. I finally finished the race, which is good.
Yeah, I noticed at one point you went into attack mode and then you immediately went into the pit lane. I'm assuming that was to repair the car.
Yeah, it was a shit show. What can I say? It was so bad at one point. I had good pace though. My laps it was quick. I was catching everyone above me at least. But yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Some very impressive pace in the hot laps, 9th fastest time in the hot laps, and then a pretty decent place on the grid as well, like you say, in P8. So certainly more to come from you, Chris Service, but I'm sure Frinavond will be very happy with your performances. And just getting on the board, finishing in 15th position will get you some decent get you a point at least, I guess. So, I mean
in Berlin, Berlin was disconnect from internet, so. It was unlucky.
It was, yeah. You only got to the first corner, didn't you? I remember that was very disappointing.
And then my Greek internet went poof. Happens often.
Yeah, I've heard other Greek drivers infamously about the Greek internet not being one of the best. Not up there with the Australian internet as well. But,
yeah, maybe.
But anyway,
yeah.
It held out. And, yeah, indeed. I think you can feel very proud of that performance, at least. One finish in your belt, the next one at Mexico, I'm sure, will be even better. So best of luck next time, and enjoy the break until then, Chris.
See you then. Bye.
Right, so Nick, I think we should switch over to Mumble now, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually,
Right.
Josh,
We've
how
got
much is
absolutely
it?
everyone.
Oh, Josh has figured out where we were. Okay, I'll mute here then, because they were waiting in the waiting room, and I think Oliver's still there as well. No, he's here too.
Oh, it's here.
Right.
They're all here.
Oh, can I speak?
Our 1-2 finishes. Joining us then, Joshua Hamilton and Oliver Perikian, first and second for Into the Points Racing Red. A fantastic drive from the both of you guys. So it looked very straightforward as Luca Gray now joins us from 360. Well, he wants to talk to us. But, I mean, how can we deny Mr. Gray?
Don't say that ever again, Ed. How can we deny Mr. Gray? That is literally from.
Oh, right.
Never say that again, ever.
Dear.
Christ, Nick.
Dear.
A Freudian slip, if there ever was one.
This has
Okay,
gone downhill
anyway.
so quickly since we joined.
And he didn't even have to say anything. Right.
What's this?
Anyway, so Josh Hamilton and Oliver Perikian. So I guess we'll hear from Josh first as the race winner. Obviously, going in the reigning champion, I think there was unfinished business in London, wasn't there? After not being able to run the race not last year, in a few months ago, basically. And you got on pole. It was a dominant performance. No one could really touch you. And Oliver did his best. And even he was about 35 seconds adrift in the end. So
in my defense, I did crash. That's really in my defense, but
well, we saw you getting sideways a few times because you're pushing. Obviously, I don't think we saw a lot of crashes. So it was a bit hard to keep track after a while. So anyway, the question was to Josh. So.
You want me to answer? Okay. Yeah, there was some unfinished business coming into this race. At least this time, I was able to show what I can do at this track. And it really is an amazing venue. It's really technical, really tricky. But yeah, we did a lot of setup work. Ollie, as we can thank for that. And
we did a lot. We did a lot of setup work, did we, Josh?
But yeah, he's made this car fantastic. It's stable. It's quite pointy as well at times, and yeah, the car feels great, and I was able to show what I can do now.
Absolutely. Well, we saw quite a bit of it last season with you taking, I think, 3 wins in the end, and win number 4 then, and one at home as well for the first time. So, brilliantly well done by you, Josh. Just a quick word on the championship. You're now equal with, obviously, with the drop scores rule. You're now equal with James Duber, of course, season 1 champion. So. What do you reckon your chances are against Thunderbird Simulation?
Well, coming into this season, I wasn't really sure where I'd be. Yes, I'm reigning champion, and you'd expect me to be up there, but obviously, we look at the roster this season. We've got some really good names in there, so we can't be complacent. So I'm just happy to be able to get this win under my belt. So at least I've got one this season. if it all goes a bit wrong, but yeah, I guess we'll see. At least it's a good starting point anyway. For me and IPR Reds, it's a fantastic.
And I have to say,
point.
As a joint champion with House Sonneveld, it's really nice of you to sort of share duties. Like he turns up a race, you turn up a race. I mean, that works really well for me because James always turns up.
Next at the minute, it's like separated parents. You have me for one time, and you have him the other.
Custody battle, yes.
Do I get 2 birthdays?
Well, I did give you the instructions and the fastest for the Lego car, so you all got that. And so moving on, then someone taking their 4th win, someone taking their first podium, I believe, in the EERC Formula E, Oliver Perikian. Of course, he came very, very close in Zurich last year, but although Josh was a little bit out of reach, it was a really stellar performance by you, Oliver.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, there's some absolute scenes happening in the IPR Discord right now. For some reason, I'm typing the announcements channel. Yeah, so Josh just managed to pull away from me in the first stint. I say first stint like there was more than one stint in this race, but in the first third of the race.
I've been saying that too. Don't worry.
I started to bring it back. I was taking like half a second out of Josh pretty much every lap. Got it back from like 11 seconds to about 6.5. Then I took another attack mode, and our setup was great, but it got very, very loose under attack mode. And I turned in too early into the second part of the chicane, had a big crash, and from then on my steering was bent at 20 degrees for the rest of the race, so I was just bringing it home. Without that, I think Josh still would have had me, but I definitely would have been a lot closer. But yeah, P2's good.
Very good in the team's championship too.
Yeah,
IPR Red, I think are going to be right in there now. Anyway.
Sorry. I just got a question.
You should ask a question, Josh. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say about Oliver as well. Yeah, I'm still here. Oliver, in your Discord as well, is it all your armies people just talking to you as well? Or what's the notifications going through there? Is it just more chat, or is it just a load of nonsense in the announcement channel?
For some reason, like all of the server could type in the IPR announcements channel.
Oh,
so everyone was. And it was chaos for a second, but we've sorted it out.
Yeah, the inmates have truly taken over the asylum.
Yeah.
Oliver's arm is here today.
Everyone was ratioing us. It was
Oh god.
It was awful. But it's
Oh,
fixed.
dear. Anyway, so
Nick,
congratulations.
Is our Discord secure? Just asking, Nick.
Sometimes. Occasionally gets
I think we have
overtaken by
tried
top
to break
four.
this Discord in every way possible.
We
so
broke
I think
BTCC and got every role at one
we
point.
did
didn't
do
we?
that.
I was having a meal with my family and I just see all these notifications like, oh my god.
No meal time for you.
Oh dear.
Well, anyway, I think congratulations again to Oliver and Joshua, and I think we should move on then to the man who's been waiting very, very patiently after finishing 4th for 360, best ever finish for 360 in EERC Formula E. It's Luca Gray once again. So, Luca, you didn't quite get the Super Bowl on this occasion, but it was sort of the inverse of Berlin, where you were gaining places and really, it was kind of no man's land after the first 15 laps or so, after Juba crashed out and Eggert crashed out ahead of you, and you couldn't quite keep pace with Hermans in the end, but still 4th place. That you've got to feel happy with that.
Yeah, I generally can't think of anything that's happened in that race, apart from Aiden crashing in front of me, my own teammate. Nearly
yeah.
taking me out.
Yeah. Escape.
Well, Aiden, I know you're listening. Why did you do that?
It was an Aiden moment.
Certainly.
We made light of it during the stream, so we certainly got a good giggle out of Aiden's. But he didn't quite get to the end of the race either. I think he was about 19 laps away from finishing. But anything else you want to add, Luca, about that? Obviously, 4th place. It really puts your championship back on. Well, I wasn't off track really after finishing 6th in Berlin, was it? It's really put you consistent finishes with even though. The question's gone. I mean, 2 top 6 finishes. I think that's got to be really, really good for you going forward.
Yeah, I think the main thing, I know I don't have the pace of the guys up front, because they were like 3 seconds quicker than me in qualifying. Ridiculous, but main thing is top 5's ever race so far, I think. I think I got 5th at Berlin.
You did? Sorry, I'm misremembering.
Yeah. That's all I can ask for, really. Just keep it consistent. Don't crash. Oh, I did nearly crash out once at the chicane. Bet my
You wouldn't be the only one. I really like to Josh Hughes, because I think he's still in the Mumble chat, and he had a massive moment at the chicane, which I'd like to ask him how that happened in attack mode. But in terms of the Discord, people interviewing us, no, we're interviewing them, sorry. Joop Lahoven has just joined us. After finishing, where did Joop finish? Was it top 8?
5th, I think.
No, it was 5th. You're right.
Yeah,
Lahoven. I think that was his best finish for Finavond Racing. So, Joop,
Yes.
there was a lot of drama. There was Gashi ahead of you. There was that moment with Gashi.
Yeah, it was
At turn
insane.
16.
It was
a little bit-
literally like 45 minutes of pure racing until like the last 5 minutes. I was constantly fighting someone. Mainly, it was Alban Gashi. Really nice fighting with him. And yeah, it was a really good fun race. I liked it.
Indeed. And I think there was your teammate as well that was sort of in the middle of it. And there was Josh Hughes not too far behind either. I think Hughes
Yeah.
had a little moment where he lost the rear, and that allowed you to sort of get ahead of him.
Yeah, that was really like a breather for me, because otherwise I would have completely been fighting the whole race, and that would have been too much for me. I think I would have made a mistake in the end, but I've managed, so it was great.
Yeah, in a race where a lot of people made mistakes, you actually kept it, for the most part, fairly clean, although I'm sure Alban Gashi
My whole
might
car
have
was
one or two
damaged.
things to say. Yeah,
My whole
you
car
both
was
took a lot of
damaged,
damage
but,
from
it
that.
was
Yeah.
great.
But anyway, congratulations, Joop. Top
Yeah,
5 now,
thank you
and I'm
very
sure
much.
you and Luca are both really fighting to get that first podium of the
Yeah.
season. So it could happen. You never know.
It's gonna be fun.
Anyway, shall we try and drag Josh Hughes into the Mumble and do an interview of him, Nick, if that's all right, before we go? He's
Yes,
probably-
I will. I will now leave if I have to sound like a darling. Anyway, yeah, I
You
just
fixed that, don't worry.
If to be honest with you, I can do a really good Dalek if I've just seen something that makes me think that I can no longer go for a quick bath after this broadcast, as Megan is standing in front of the commentary box door as well with a towel in her hand, indicating that she's going to go to the shower. So thank you very much, Megan, for that. I can go in after.
Great rules. Commentary cameo from Megan Birch.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for
You-
that, Megan.
you
We
go.
should get Megan
Yeah.
into some of these races. We just having
Yeah,
a
we
conversation
should.
on Twitter. I was having a conversation with someone about it was Mia Rose and her Queen's design team. We were all talking about how there's not enough female drivers in virtual Le Mans, and I was saying, well, there's not enough female commentators either. I should make more of an effort to get in. Because there's no one. There's always the moment where there's no one when we're doing these endurance races, and I'm just on my own. So
I'll
get
grab my
someone.
chief, Megan.
Doesn't matter.
See if I can drag her in for an hour or so on Saturday as well, because I know she's not going to be around that much. But yeah, she's now pointing a hairbrush at me.
I thought you were about to say pointing a gun at you. I was just like, that got very dark.
No.
Anyway,
not that
thanks for
bad,
joining us, Josh. And
Yes,
we'll
I'll
hopefully
disappear.
hear some more for you from Mexico on the 28th then.
Yeah, I'll be here on the 28th, and I'll see you as well on the endurance in a few days' time. See you later, guys.
Bye,
Bye bye.
Right, so I'm sending messages to Josh Hughes in the mumble. I don't know if there's a... Oh, I had a friend. Maybe that'll wake him up.
I think he might have.
We waited too long. He's still in there. I think it might just have gone off to something else and not bothered to leave.
Too many Bond references.
Nah, true. But congratulations, nevertheless, to Josh Hughes on his top 6 then. So before we go, Nick, any final thoughts on the race that we've seen together? So that's 2 different winners then, and the championship really neck and neck between, I think, Juba and...
It will be neck and neck.
It will be, yeah, between those 2. I'm trying to think if Luca Gray might actually be in the mix with his
I think he'll be in the
4th
lead,
and
yeah.
5th. I think Luca Gray for 360 is actually leading, despite not taking a win yet. So obviously these early stages, things will start to even out as we get along through the 7 rounds. But I certainly think the main type protagonist, it's Sonneveld, Hamilton, and Juba, as I sort of predicted beforehand. It's a shame we didn't get to talk to Juba, but I could tell he was devastated by the way that ended. But nonetheless, best of the 100 Birch drivers was Jack Giordamana. So he said, I had a great race, didn't touch a wall or make a mistake. So exactly as I thought, he played it safe, and his reward was a career best equaling 12th place. I think it equaled his best at Diriyah last season, I think, where he also finished 12th. So anyway, that's about all from London. We'll be back for Mexico City on the 28th. But if you really can't wait that long, if you need your EERC action, we'll be back this weekend on the 17th in a few days' time for the penultimate round, and it could potentially be the championship deciding round of several of our 3 classes in EERC Endurance Championship. Of course, with we've got Mugen and Valet in LMP1. We've got Mugen, Valet, and Iris fighting in LMP2, and then GD3 it's Team Imperium and Nick and Finavon just trying to keep that alive before the final 24 hours in Bahrain in October. And I think Eddie 87 is equal on points with the triple four, aren't they? So Iris still in contention there, but it's sort of a matter of when Team Imperium win it, really, in all honesty, because they've been superb this season, and we'll have to see them in action. All of them in action at the Imola 6 hours, and of course we've got some all the other teams competing as well. I'm sure going to put on a fantastic show. But from me, from Josh Birch, from Nick Homewood, from London, and from all our drivers and teams, it's goodbye, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon, and take care, and good evening, good afternoon.